Okay, due to recent events, that title you just read is not an April Fool's joke. There's some people out there that have been targeting me, and I'm tired of it. So I feel that this channel is the reason, or not the reason, but the catalyst to what they're doing. So that's it. I figured I'd be honorable enough to show the finality of the corn planter and what I did for anybody that was interested in the maybe they have a planter like this or whatnot, and maybe they were just really into the rebuild series itself. But it's been a good time. 11 years. All right. Raise it up. Row units are good. Fold it up. Functioning properly. I dropped my bolts. So the next thing we have to do here is these hinges. We need to make them so that they bolt together. I'm going to put a dowel pin in here so that when they come together they are aligned, and then I can only have to put one bolt in instead of two of those. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, unfold it. Just unfold it. Going to work perfectly. Excellent. One side works faster than the other. Drop it down. I think it's perfect. Now we put them boxes on, it might look like a corn planter. Yeah. So now he's got that down, and this is what we need to do. See, now that it won't fit now. Raise it up.
It needs that. It was twisted, I guess. Yeah, good.
Yeah, see, now that'll fit. It'll go in. These bolts are too long. I'm going to have to snip them off. I'm going to snip the ends off so that I have a short thread. I bought them long because I couldn't get them in halves. And of course this here is hitting, so I got to deal with that. Alright. Make sure these chains are not too tight, which they are not. So we've got the shaft in. That would have been a lot easier to put that shaft in like that.
Yeah, right? If we were able to do.
Yeah, so we did, everything we did is in good shape here. Perfect. Everything's looking good. I greased the clutch system there. This thing's got a leak to it. I'm going to probably have to pop that off of there, that hydraulic cylinder, because I do have a leak on it. I think it's leaking at the top, not the bottom so much. I thought it was leaking at the bottom, but I'm going to get a wrench on there and tighten those up. Sometimes that's all it'll take. If not, I got to pull it out of there. And I don't understand this whole thing. That's an awful big cylinder just to engage and disengage everything, but it's got stuff everywhere. Hoses and shit. Alright. Hey, why don't you drop it down? Yeah, she'll work.
Oh, yeah.
See, now I won't go in there. These bolts have to go in.
There, I second those wheels go off, see them twist.
Yep.
Second those wheels.
Yeah, they twist. Alright, raise it up and put the blocks in, and then we'll start working on. Well, why don't you fold it up and we'll work on the dowel pins. It's awesome, though. Alright, so we're in the corn planting business here. I think these planters is going to work out really well. Go ahead and drop it down onto the blocks. What happened?
One box slipped out.
Oh, they do. That one is broke. So, alright, you can shut it off, that smoky ass thing. Alright. So I have to replace this guy here.
She's warmed up now.
Oh yeah, it's turning a lot easier. Yep, so this is just a bit of Afro engineering. That's got to come off there. Yeah, so I'm going to get a piece of 5/8 inch bolt, cut it, and we'll weld it in so that it lines up. And I think we'll be good there with that. Yeah. What is it? Hot?
That got me.
That's a shitty weld. That's by far one of the shittier welds I've done. I'm thinking that's going to be a winner. Cut that bolt off. I can use the, let me get on the other side and weld that. Look at that. Very ridiculous. What's he crying about now? Weird ass directions I can run, but I'll do it. Alright, I'm gonna get on the other side. I have to get a new transmission. Gear set. Broken? Oh, one of them is. I saw it. I don't know which one. There's maybe one behind me. Yeah, I think that'll work. Whew. All right. Got that. Now we need to cut it off.
being there.
Yeah, right.
I bought a bunch of them from Horrible Freight.
I want the ones that I bought. The ones I paid $7 a piece for.
A bunch of Horrible Freight you can get on for.
Well, I'll take the bolt out. Wrenches. Where's the other wrench?
Put it on there. You can put the camera on. We're good.
On camera! Okay, so he's going to unfold it so that it is, you can see how it goes. There's the dowel pin we made and the bolt that we made for in there. Go ahead and open her up. You should just swing right on around. Gorgeous as she goes. We did both sides now. There it is. It's a little spring-loaded doodad. I got to replace that. But I do have this gap here, and that is due to previous owner's damage. And but other than that, I think it's pretty good. So because these things are on a slant, the plates are on a slant, it's going to. What are these knuckleheads doing? Alright, so that goes in just like that. Naturally, just put the bolt in. Take your nut, start your nut, tighten it up. Can't do it by hand on camera because I've only got one hand, but that's it. That's the whole enchilada. And then you bolt that thing up nice and tight, making it 100% rigid. It can't move, it can't flex front to back, and it can't flex up and down because it will be solid against its plates the way it was designed to be. The other side is the same thing. Timothy has got that cut, and he'll show you here. Is it cut? Looks good. Did you grind it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and start the nut. I want to see if it's going to work right. So the whole process is only going to take about a couple minutes. 2 wrenches, obviously. If you don't have it right, pull it out and grind it so that it's normal. Go.
It is.
No. It looks like you Afro-engineered it. So, and of course, when these things start to turn, obviously I have to do something here because whoever did this the last time, whoever put this piece on, this is for a newer style corn planter, and they didn't drill a hole and put a washer in there. They just put it up against the the bearing there, which would probably be just fine, but it's just something you got to look at when she's folded up. See, there it goes. Did it work?
Yeah. Just going on.
Huh?
It's just going on right there.
All right, well, yeah, because you don't have the threads clean. Threads needed to be cleaned. So everything is done. Yeah. All right, take it back out again, and what we'll do is have him fold it up. We will clean everything up and call it a night because it's time to go home. So yeah, I got to put the welder away and torches and everything else, and tomorrow we'll go right ahead and put these boxes on. I am short one wheel, one closing wheel. I have to go to John Deere because the jackass out there, I don't know what his name is, but I made sure, I told him, I said I need 2 gauge wheel tires. They sent me closing wheel tires, and I needed 2 closing wheels that are rubber tires. They send me cast iron ones. Well, what the hell am I going to do with those? So I don't need cast iron closing wheels because they're heavy and they break this style of row unit to bits. So that's the end of it. Hold it up! So what we're going to need to do is figure a place to put these bolts. These 2 bolts that go on here. And that's how it folds up. It's a nice tight package here. Not terribly wide, not terribly narrow. Probably going to put a flag on the end here just so that when you're going down the road, people will see the corn planter and not want to run into it. But I'm actually quite pleased with the way it turned out. It turned out really well. It was a good project. We've got a little bit, I think just about $10,000 into her. in total from purchase to completion. Now we're just going to see if we can make that $150,000-$200,000 corn crop. Anyway, with that being said, well, I'll make $200,000, or I'll bring in $200,000 worth of corn and fodder by the time I'm done. So I'll be okay. 200 acres, that's all right. Okay, this is an interesting question. Is Ratan Noel? He says, "Hi, I buy corn here in the Philippines. What moisture do you harvest at? And then what do you dry it down to?" All right, here in the United States, the drier it is at harvest time, the better off you are. But time constraints, generally, we will go as high as 22% moisture to start harvesting, and then dry it down to 15% moisture. Ideally, I like to go at 18% moisture. I mean, I'm a little bit more patient than a lot of people, but it depends on the number of acres that we have. But I like 18%. The higher the moisture is at harvest time, and when you run it through the grain dryer, you actually lose test weight. So if it's 20% and you got to bring it down 5 points, it's expensive for propane, and B, your test weight will lose quite a bit. You lose quite a bit in the test weight, and meaning that there's 56 pounds in a bushel of corn. So if it's 56 pounds per bushel of corn at, say that 20%, and you dry it down, you may get as low as 53, 54 pounds per bushel of corn. If you let it dry naturally, I don't know what it is about it, but as you let it dry naturally down to, say, 18 or 16, and only have to take, 2 to 4% moisture out of it, then you won't really see any difference. I have grown over 60 pound per bushel corn, very high test weight corn, and that is done through fertility and just soil conditions and how you harvest it. So I hope I answered your question. On another note, because you are in the Philippines, I would probably require that to be a little bit lower, something like 13.5 to 15. I wouldn't go any higher than 15 for storage, because you're in a tropical area. And aeration fans, probably, if I were you, if you have a bin fan, I would put a propane or natural gas heater on that bin fan just to maintain that moisture because of the tropical environment. Yeah, thanks. Hope that helps. Stanley Johnston, do you have a rock picking machine? Yup, 2 of them. Alan Scott says, "You're such a dickhead." Well, it takes one to know one. Brian Ginder, he says a few things. Them wrenches came out a long time ago. Remember the Robo Grip? Oh yeah, totally. $9.95 on TV. Rocks? I hate rocks. We grow them things here in northwest Wisconsin. Yeah. I have a problem with tires. I have a tire breeding program, but their offsprings are always just as worn out as the ones that, the older ones. It's crazy how tires go. Rocks are the same way in some places. And yes, it will plant like a wet dream. A damn good wet dream. John Byrne. Hey Wes, love the videos. Just wondering, what is Tim's most favorite part of your farming operation? Mechanic, baling, corn, etc. I would have to say driving out the driveway to go home at the end of the day. It's about his favorite part of it. Many respects to anybody that has high-speed planters. I mean, if they feel the need that they need to go that fast, that's fine. The machines are obviously capable of doing it. But in my area, just because you can doesn't mean you should. We would have major problems. Duke Dog Tom, he says, will you bring back any other crops in the future? I know you've given up on beans, but wheat, maybe rye or barley? Yes, I actually do have plans of planting rye, cereal rye, for cover crop throughout our region. We have the Chesapeake Bay watershed that Lancaster County, Pennsylvania falls into, and seed rye is generally between $22 and $30 a bag for that, or a bushel, 60 pounds in a bushel, I guess. No, 56 pounds in a bushel, same as corn. And, so, yeah, rye. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be harvesting rye again. Farmall Skittle says, have you heard that Deere is going to twin rotors in their combines? It only took them 40 years to figure out that it was a better design. Second to last one I'm going to do. Brian Hubbard, Mr. Pandy, have you ever operated or checked out Versatile Line? If so, what's your opinion? God bless. No, I actually haven't. I've seen them. I think the hoods on them look an awful lot like the 20 Series John Deere. But I don't know. I haven't. I see Mike Less is peddling them all over the country. So maybe if Mike Less wants to bring a Versatile out to me, and I'd run it, I would definitely give it a shot. I am looking for a high-speed tractor with a front suspended axle to run stack wagons and balers. Okay, so if you want an explanation as to why this is my very last video, I'm going to do another video on my Ag Talk in the Raw, and you can go over there now. I'll possibly put a link in the description below if you don't know that channel, Ag Talk in the Raw, and I'll tell you exactly what's up with my decision. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.